Hello, and welcome to the LifeWorks podcast, where we share lessons learned from the trenches of life and business to help you achieve more, live more, and be more. I am your host, Mark Botros. Hello, and welcome to the LifeWorks podcast. Joining me today is Olivia Sheldon Barnett, the CEO and founder of Positive Energy Yoga. Olivia began her passion for fitness and health at an early age. At 15, she became a black belt in karate and continued on her fitness path, teaching kickboxing, women's self-defense, and later starting her company, Positive Energy Yoga. She's been teaching for over 20 years. Speaking from personal experience, Olivia can tie you up like a pretzel, have you laughing on the floor, and leave you feeling completely at peace afterwards. Olivia's mantra is humility, integrity, perseverance, heal thyself, do you, and shine on. And she really does embody that. Olivia, it's great to have you on the podcast today.
Thanks so much for having me. That was a nice intro.
Thank you. Well, you really do, live your talk. So you do have a fascinating backstory. Tell us a little bit about yourself from your own perspective.
So I grew up in Virginia Beach, very active from age 2. I've always been into fitness and exercise in some fashion or form. I did gymnastics and some dance. And then when I found karate at age 9, I just fell in love. Like, it was my jam. And after I got my black belt, I started teaching kids karate. So I started teaching really at age 15, and then I taught women's self-defense class. And I just was drawn to it. It just I felt at home. It felt like what I was meant to do. And when I went to college, I went to James Madison University and got an English degree because that'll get you far. I taught aerobics while I was at school. Right. When I graduated, and I'm like, well, what do I do with an English degree now? I just started teaching aerobics around town in Virginia Beach, and I taught at a cardiac rehabilitation center with some older folks, and that was amazing because they didn't know what to do with 21-year-old peppy, energetic me. I didn't care that they were 75. And you know what? They rose up to the challenge and became fitness buffs. So anybody at any age, under any circumstances, can absolutely work out. And I did some news. I used to go teach I'd go on the news and have the weather guy like doing bicep curls with soup cans and, workouts at home. And I taught some QVC. I did QVC for a little bit. Selling fitness equipment. So I've dabbled in the fitness world along the way. And how I sort of ended up being the yoga gal is I used to teach kickboxing and step aerobics and all the workouts at the gym. I was sort of the gym gal, and I started getting injured. And honestly, yoga kind of found me because after not being able to teach, step aerobics because of knee injury, and then kickboxing because of shoulder injury. I just ended up doing yoga full time and realized it was sort of kinder and gentler on the body and more sustainable. So that's how I'm here. Now I'm the yoga girl.
That's amazing. And I it's funny because you're kind of like the Washington, D.C.'s personal yoga trainer to the stars, right? Like you've worked out with senators and things like that. Like, really significant people who like don't want to admit that they're into yoga, like come to you.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. I train a lot of CEOs that maybe they're not comfortable going to a class. I have trained a senator. Yeah. I have some interesting clientele for sure. That just goes to show you that everybody sort of realizes maybe we need a little yoga in our lives, especially in this town.
What's your observation about how people are feeling these days?
Well, for sure, the collective feeling and vibration is one of anxiety, and it's a roller coaster of emotion. I think we want to feel hopeful and optimistic about the future, but it just feels very overwhelming. So I think people, more than any time in my lifetime, collectively, like we all go through things, we lose a job, or we have a parent who's ill, or we have things that are going to be traumatic and stressful in our life, but just collectively as a society, and we're all dealing with it in our own way. But I think we're all just super stressed out. Our nervous system is shot. I just think we're feeling anxious and overwhelmed more than ever before. And it's sad, but that is the case that we're in.
Yeah. How do you manage to radiate such positivity, even despite, despite the environment that we're in?
So, well, hopefully it's sort of natural and intuitive, but I do believe in faking it until you make it. In some
Mm,
cases, if maybe you don't wake up and feel super optimistic that day, that
no.
find something to feel grateful for and find a goal for the day. I call it my GG, my gratitude and my goal. And sometimes
Mm,
gratitude, honestly, I wake up every day and I just say, I am so grateful for all my body parts that still work, and I'm hopeful for the ones that need some working
yeah.
on. And then have a goal for the day. And maybe that goal is like organizing, maybe the goal is getting through the day. And
Mm,
maybe the goal is eating healthier for 2 of your 3 meals. So I think positivity is very much a state of mind. I think
mm,
how we train our body, we can train, we train our muscles, we get stronger. We start with 2 pound weights and then we do 5 pound weights, and we get stronger and we train our body. Our muscles, they learn and they know what is repeated over and over again. And I
yeah.
think you can train your brain the same way. So if you wake up and you've got the negative attitude, well, you're probably going to have a tough day. You're going to be fighting an uphill battle. But if you wake up and you say, I'm going to make it a great day, not I'm going to make it a great day, not just have a great day. I'm going to make it
Mm,
happen. And
mhm,
just small steps, whatever you can find along the way. I
yeah.
actually have a little, I'm a talker. I've
Oh,
got
good.
a story of positivity and sort of my inspiration, if I can share with you. And I think
Please,
this is good for anybody. Do you
please.
mind?
I don't mind at
Um,
all. Please.
so my mom is like her nickname, and she used to work in a school, and they called her Miss Sunshine. She's always happy. I mean, blissfully happy. Like, it's kind
Yeah.
of annoying. And she unfortunately was in a car accident about 4 years ago,
Mm,
and they took 2 jaws of life to get her out of the car. And
wow.
both of her legs were shattered. They almost cut off one of her legs. She has had 9 surgeries since that accident, and she never blinked a moment of, I feel sorry for myself. This is awful. I'm sad. I'm depressed. And I kind of said, I was like, Mom, it's okay to feel bad. She goes, I'm so grateful to be alive. And the doctors who told her that she would not, the doctor said, you're going to have a walker for the rest of your life. And my mom had always been someone who walks the boardwalk like every day, 5 to 6 miles a day. She loves to
Yeah. Yeah.
move. She's an exerciser. She's a doer, a liver. And she said, it never crossed my mind that I wouldn't walk. It never crossed my mind that I wouldn't be
Mm,
okay. It didn't even come into her brain. She didn't even let it permeate her brain waves. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. And
wow.
that to me just is, that is what positivity is I am not going to let this take me down, and I refuse to just sit here and feel sorry for myself. I'm going to get up and I'm going to make it happen. And she doesn't need a walker. She does everything around her house now by herself, and she still walks her 5 to 6 miles on the boardwalk every day. She's like literally a miracle.
Wow. That's that's
So
that's incredible. That's like an
that
incredible story.
that's the essence of positivity is, I believe I will be okay. I'm going to make it okay. And she did.
Yeah. How much of that do you think rubbed off on you?
Well, I think when you grow up, you've got the genetic component, right? We all have
Right.
the genetic component. Some people's hamstrings are flexible, some people's aren't, right? And then the environmental plays a big
Right.
part. So yeah, I mean, I think if you grow up in a negative household, I think it's hard to come out of that and have to readjust. But we have so much in our brain, and I know you've done other podcasts about it, but we have so much in our brain wiring that we can rewire and train just the same way we train our biceps and our hamstrings, right?
Right. 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 How important is the dailiness of our decisions to remain positive or to get centered? How important is that?
I think it's vital. I think our body and our minds know what we do regularly, like having a routine. Like, if I
Yeah.
floss my teeth every day, I'm going to have a better dental visit. If I take
Yeah.
care of myself and I think positive every day, it's just reinforcing good behaviors. We are creatures of habit. I think instinctively we are just creatures of habit. We like to go to the same places. We like to eat the same food. We like to do the same thing. Like, I think we like habit, right? That makes us feel comfortable. So you just have to have good habits, right? And maybe that's starting with one or two. And certainly how we think and staying in that state of positivity is a wake up with your gratitude and your goal in the morning. It's like putting money in the bank, right? If you take care of yourself every day, right, at the end of the year, you're going to be a healthier, happier, better person. If you neglect yourself, you're going to deplete from that account. So people like to talk about money and bank accounts. Well, invest in yourself every day. Invest in yourself.
Hmm. Tell us a little bit about beyond your morning routine. Tell us a little bit about your typical day.
So my typical day, well, morning routine, I have a 6-year-old son, so my morning is like, I drink, I have my mama drink every day. My mama juice is not wine. I actually don't drink any alcohol at all. I don't like the taste of it, but I drink my mama juice in the morning. My mama juice is aloe juice because that's good for your digestive system. I do my apple cider vinegar, also good for digestive system. I have some digestive issues. So just to set the tone with like warm water. So that's sort of my morning, like start with warm water, lemon juice, have a nice little morning routine.
Mm-hmm.
And then exercise. So the only way I feel like I can get through the rest of my day is that I've done something for myself. And for me, it's always exercise. So that can be a walk around the block, listening to some music. It can be, I actually don't do a lot of yoga on my own, only because I teach so much yoga that I'm sort of doing it. My workouts are usually like I'm lifting weights and I'm using the Bosu ball, and I like, elliptical when the gyms are open. So that's sort of my meditation in motion, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much my day. And then, taking care of my son and teaching yoga to awesome people like you. So it's a pretty good day. I can't complain. You got to find what you love and then figure out how to make a living doing it. Right.
Right. How do you define success?
Success. My definition of success is certainly probably different than somebody else's definition, but I think you have to have health as your foundation. And I know that just because I've trained so many wealthy people. I remember I trained this billionaire, right? And his back was out. Like he couldn't move. So he couldn't enjoy his life. He couldn't go to work. He couldn't go to his children's soccer games.
Wow.
He was just in pain. So it was kind of like, wow, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Yes, money helps you get, get help, and you have access to much more than those who do not. I get it. But if you don't have your health just as a foundation, you're going to have other issues. I just think you're going to be missing out a lot. So to me, success is having your health first.
Mm-hmm.
It's also finding your passion, like what ignites you, what sparks joy, what makes you want to keep going throughout the day. Part of that is finding your purpose. Why are we here? What are we meant to do on this planet?
What do you think are some of the misconceptions that people have around health and fitness and even centeredness?
I think we get caught up in the all or nothing. It's where we feel overwhelmed. Like, you've got to get out there. You have to eat really healthy. You have to stop eating carbohydrates. You have to make sure you drink 8 glasses of water a day. You have to do this and that. It almost feels like, whoa, that feels so overwhelming. I kind of don't want to like shut down and not do anything.
Right.
So I think the misconception is like, I have to do this, 1 hour of yoga for it to benefit me. And my answer is like, no, you can do 10 minutes here or there. You can stretch when you're sitting at your desk. You can, make healthier choices with your food. You don't have to cut out all sugar and all carbohydrates. This living in a state of extremes is what's going to scare us away from finding that center, right? So to me, I would say baby steps and finding something that you can sort of control during the day. Like what can you control during the day? Yeah. Did that answer your question?
It does. It does. And, I think you said something one time, like, in a class one time that, like some people say, like, I want to work on this, like one corner of my gut right here, like I just want to
Yeah.
get that, but it sounds like what you're saying is that no, it's, you have to sort of embrace health and wellness as sort of a holistic thing. And that little corner will get taken care of, right?
Yeah.
As you embrace it all, as you embrace and you do a little bit every day. So it's, no, it's really, it's a great philosophy that you have.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's definitely the combination too of like your mental health. So what
Mm.
feeds you for your mental health? Is that, reading a book? Is that listening to music? Is that dancing in your living room? Is that taking 5 minutes for meditation? So that looks different for each person, your mental, emotional health. Is that spending time with your family? Maybe that actually feels stressful. So you need like time to yourself, right? I'm not speaking from experience. I'm not.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm not. So
Yeah.
I think it's, yes, approaching that, having that comprehensive, like spiritual, mental,
Mm.
physical, you need all those components. If one is more than the other, then we're out of balance, right?
Yeah, yeah. What kind of advice do you think can you give us around eating, and how important is eating, to this whole thing?
So eating is a big like trigger for a lot of people, like the
Yeah.
diet thing. Eating is very connected to our emotions, right? Like we eat when we're happy, we eat when we're
Mhm.
sad. And so my yoga teacher, he always said we should eat when we're hungry, and we should eat because we need the food to sustain life. In other words, he wasn't a big believer in like gluttonous eating and overdoing it. He's very much a minimalist. So now I like my little snacks and my sugar, but I would say like everything in moderation. Try to cut out the chemicals and the preservatives and the additives and really eat from the earth. So
Mhm.
anything that we can get from the earth. So when people say like, cut out all carbs, cut out all sugar, stop drinking, if you enjoy a glass of wine, have a glass of wine, like live your life, right?
Right, right.
If you need a piece of chocolate cake, I'm raising my hand, ice cream, like I do like the sugar. I will
Right.
say like sugar is probably one of the worst things for our bodies that we could consume. And I'm saying that as a
Mhm.
sugar lover, but it is inflammatory. It is
Right.
inflammatory. So if you like have arthritis and conditions, I mean, so at one point I cut sugar out for 8 months.
Wow.
My eyes got clearer, my skin got clear. I didn't have my bags under my eyes, got better. Like it was
Wow.
amazing. Now, unfortunately, I got off that wagon and back to a little
Right.
bit of sugar. But I try to eat healthy as you can, eat as healthy
Mhm.
as you can. Try to eat organic and just try to eat from the earth. Eat in
Yeah.
moderation. I know diets don't work. I think the statistic, and don't quote me, but 97% probably of people who do diets, they they gain the weight back. So going on a diet, making a lifestyle change that feels healthy and sustainable, not like, oh, I'm going to starve myself for 2 months and then I'm going to be like exactly how I want to be. Yeah, but
Right.
that's just not sustainable. And you're probably going to be super cranky. So still be happy and be yourself. Yeah, I was not the first couple months of no sugar, Olivia was not a nice, happy person. Let's be honest.
So it's just common sense, right? I mean,
It
everything
is.
that you're
I know
saying, it
people
just
make it
sounds like common sense.
yes, people make it so complicated and they get so worked up about it. And I mean, the amount of
Yeah.
money we all spend on these like plans and these cleanses. I mean, I watch all my clients. I mean, I've been in this
Yeah.
industry. I've been in
Yeah.
this industry really since I was 15. I've been a gym rat. I've seen everything from, the eating disorders, like all these people who you see who are like
Mm.
these ripped up, shredded fitness buffs. I mean, they starve themselves. They literally starve themselves before
Mm.
competition, and then they
Wow.
just go back. But if you see what they look like off season, you're like, that doesn't even look like the same person. So that's living in state of extremes,
Wow.
and that's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. It's your life works. Well, that's not going to work.
Right. Right. We're all about trying to make life
Fact,
work, right? Yeah.
yeah. Seriously, it just doesn't work. So just making good choices and, yeah, just making healthy choices every day.
Yeah.
Drinking water. If it's hard to, if it's hard to do it all, maybe pick one thing, maybe ditch soda, right? Maybe
Right.
cut out sugar, maybe just have one sweet treat a day. So just
Right.
making smart choices.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard from some others that working with you has been kind of like tapping into the fountain of youth. Um, yeah. And no, and it was a genuine compliment that they paid you. And so I'm curious to know, um, what's your take on the fountain of youth? How do we tap into that?
Ah, the elusive fountain of youth. It's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
I think the fountain of youth is taking care of yourself. I think
Mm.
it's we spend so much time taking care, and not to put the dudes down, but women especially, like we're just constant like caretakers and we feel guilty of everything. We're nurturing everybody and everyone around us, that we almost feel guilty when we take time for ourselves. So for me, that fountain of youth is finding something that
Mm.
brings you joy and happiness, fixes us at sort of a cellular level. It helps our brain waves. I mean, you can look up the research. It's pretty cool, more mainstream. So for me, I'm going to say yoga and finding something that brings you personal joy and taking care of yourself and not feeling guilty about it,
Yeah.
not having to explain it to anybody, just and not feeling selfish. Like I think we feel selfish if we're like, I just want to take an hour to exercise. I know so many mom friends that they feel guilty taking any time for themselves. And it's really hard to let go of that. It's so necessary. It's the old put the oxygen mask on, right? Like somebody else or yourself first so that you can
Absolutely.
take care of everybody else. Like
Absolutely.
that's so true. So fountain of youth is take care of yourself and then you can take care of everybody else you want to take care of. And certainly yoga and exercise and eating right are part of that.
Hmm.
How could they not be? Yeah.
Yeah. Wisdom, according to the flight safety card, right?
Right. There. I learned it on an airplane.
Everything I needed to know about self-care.
Everything
I
I
learned it
needed to
on
know. I paid
like
attention
a
when they
flight
were
safety
talking.
card. So, so is
Laughter is the
yeah,
fountain of youth. Yeah,
yeah,
having a good
I do
sense of
agree.
humor. There you go.
I do agree with that. And you bring it out. You're one who brings it out. One of the things that's always impressed me about you, and I said at the beginning, like I'll be in class, and man, I'm like struggling, sweating, just a mess, and twisted up like a pretzel, and you'll say something like hilarious, and it's just offhand, and I'm there twisted up and dying. I'm on the floor, literally rolling on the floor laughing. It's so you really do bring out laughter.
Thank you. That's my goal. I think
Yeah.
life is already too serious and structured and tough and pressure and stress. I don't want like your exercise or your yoga practice to be that way. So I do have a very lighthearted approach. It's not for everybody, but some
Yeah.
people enjoy giggling and laughing and being goofy. And I've got a bunch of immature things to say. So I'm just going to share.
No, it's awesome.
Thanks.
Um, do you think it's possible? So because you mentioned that you worked with people who are older and that you've turned them
Yeah.
into fitness buffs and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible for someone who's middle aged
Hmm.
to develop their young adult body? So say you're 40 through 40 through say 60 or something like that.
Yeah.
um, and but you really have embraced fitness. Is it possible for that person to get back to a 20 something year old health or body, or what's your thought?
So we can't control sort of the skin.
Right. Right.
The wrinkles come, and I'll just say I'm 45. I'm owning it. And my answer to that is I have seen 25-year-olds who look very out of shape to me, and I wouldn't
Mhm.
want to look like that 25-year-old. So I think age is totally relative. I have an 87-year-old client. He started with me when he was 67 years old.
Wow.
And I just said, we're going to keep you going and strong as long as we can. I have him doing balance. I have him doing age appropriate things. So we have
Sure.
slowed down. We do more things seated. But I
Mhm.
always think that we should live up to our potential and our ability at any age. So 40, 45, yeah, okay, my knees don't work like they did when they were 25, but I work out smarter and I maybe don't have to work out as long. I used to be like big over exerciser. Like I would work out for 2 hours a day. I would do like Stairmaster, and then I would go teach a kickboxing class, and then I'd have like a step class later. That was too much. That's wear and tear on the body, and that ends up causing injury. So I'm very important. The 20-year-olds who are working out, stop overdoing it. It's just that long-term, that ego
Yeah.
equals injury. Okay. Ego equals injury. I've seen it. I've lived it. It's just not worth it. So less really can be more. Yes, you can train your body at 40 to 60. That's in your prime, baby. You've got experience under your belt to make those better choices. And yeah, I know tons of 40 to 60-year-olds, if we're going to stay in that age range, who are in much better shape than maybe the young folks. Honestly they have a little more energy. But if you eat really healthy and you take care of yourself, my yoga teacher's late 60s, he climbs mountains, he does wheatgrass juice shots. I can't do those anymore. But my point is that yes, you can be strong and healthy and vibrant at any age. Whatever you got, make the best of it and keep improving. Find your potential at whatever age you are.
How does a person develop confidence?
Ooh, how does a person develop confidence? That's back to the train your brain, talk yourself into a good space. Because I think we're really good at saying negative things. So I was a Lululemon ambassador, and we went to this retreat. So it was like the top fitness professionals in area. We all met. It was really cool. And we all had to write down something that we thought about ourselves. And it was almost like tearful that I would say 70% of the people wrote, I feel like I'm not good enough. Wow. These are people who are in the best shape possible, top of their game, head of the industry. Yeah. And they were writing down, I don't feel good enough. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of people who are really smart and who I look up to, who are feeling and thinking. It's almost like we're always all feeling like we're not good enough. And that just was really sad to me, because I think, yes, we are. Yes, you're good enough. You know, it's almost like when I teach yoga and I'm like, pat yourself on the back, you know, when we're doing our tricep stretch, I say, pat yourself on the back. Yes. Like pat yourself on the back, like get up in the morning. What is that SNL character that says like Stuart Smalley? He goes, I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. I'm strong enough. People like me. Right. So get up and train the brain and say, right. Who doesn't love a little SNL shout out? Just retrain your brain wiring until you talk yourself into a good space. And you say, so building confidence, maybe our childhood, somebody bullied you and you had like a bad experience, or you're struggling right now. You're always going to be good at something, and everybody is in this human connection of struggle. We're always all struggling with something. The happiest person that you think is so happy, like they're struggling with something. Everybody has a past. Everybody has experiences. Everybody struggles. So we're kind of like, we're in this together, and either we're going to help each other or we're going to hurt one another. And let's choose helping, and let that be starting with yourself, right? Like help yourself, say something nice to yourself. Yeah. Like, I like my wrinkles when I go upside down, they look better, right? Like turn it around, spin it.
So for those of us, and I'll throw my hand up, on this one, for those of us who struggle with anxiety, just how can we go from a mental space of essentially fear to a place where we are centered? How can we make that journey, or that quick journey, from, hopefully it's a quick journey from really stressed, really anxious to centered and at peace? How can we do that?
That is a really good question. I think that's going to be a little different for each person. In the immediate sense, honestly, just closing your eyes and taking deep breaths, you can turn off that stress hormone cortisol. So it is like a physical manifestation, right? Like stress manifests itself in our body. Like I see it all the time. I see people, it's like, hey, can you relax your shoulders? And they're like, oh, I didn't even realize I was doing that. That I see stress manifests itself in people's bodies. So in the immediate sense, it would be close your eyes, and just take some slow, deep. It could be, even if you don't know how to do yoga breathing, right? So yoga breathing is all nostril breathing. It's called Ujjayi. You can look it up. It's inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. It's more complicated than that. Trying to get sort of to your lower lungs. But the cool thing about these breathing, or what we call pranayama exercises, is that it turns off that stress hormone. You cannot feel stress. You will not be stressed or anxious if you can just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. I too, I'm like, as you can tell, like I'm high strung, I'm anxious. I'm not your typical yoga teacher. I'm like yoga for type A's. Woo, call me. I am super high energy. So, and with that usually comes a bit of anxiety and stress, and that is hard to control. So I control it personally. My answer to everything: I exercise. I feel stressed, I get on the elliptical, I listen to music, I tune out. It's my moving meditation. I'm not really good at sitting still. So I would say, in the immediate sense, do the breath. Also, holding onto your belly. So hand on the belly. And then sometimes I have you guys do this in Savasana, right hand on your belly and left hand on your heart. So our stomach is our emotional center. Doesn't that make sense? Like you get butterflies in your stomach when you're excited. Right. You get like knots in your stomach when you're stressed. I have digestive issues, I mentioned, and a lot of that is like me holding in that stress. So I have to release it in some way.
Yeah.
After 21 years, I would have mastered it, but I'm not going to give up trying, right? But right hand to belly is literally like, I am calming down, I am soothing, I am bringing good healing energy into my literally the center of our being, right? This is our center of our being. So right hand to belly. Sometimes people will bring their left hand to their head, right? So just sort of calming the mind and calming that emotional center, or left hand to your heart. That's your heart center, your compassion zone. So I would say in the immediate sense, just to close your eyes and take 5 deep breaths with hand on belly and hand heart, and then another 5 deep breaths with left hand to your head. And then just doing that, it slows down the breathing, it calms the heart rate, it calms the nervous system down. So there are a lot of really cool physical ways to calm down, just the same way that stress manifests itself in our body, and then we're tight and we're this and we feel overwhelmed. Yeah. But we can reverse that, because we can use our body and our movement to help calm the stress. So it works both ways. Just like it works negatively, it works in the other direction.
Oh, sure. I never really thought of it that way. No, that's really helpful.
Good. Yay.
I think it just helped me.
Oh, good. Okay, good. You feel calmer now during our interview?
I do, actually.
Okay, good.
I want to ask a couple of some more general questions.
Yeah.
What do you want most for your life?
Well, now that I'm a mom, I want to be a good mom. I think anybody who's, a parent, when you get there, it's like, I just want to send a good human being into the universe. Yeah. What do I want most for my life? I would say fulfilling my purpose, helping people help themselves. Like I like to teach the art of self-reliance. I want you to be able to fix yourself and heal yourself, that we don't have to spend tons of money and all day going to chiropractors and physical therapists. I mean, I see people all the time who are always searching so desperately for answers. And it's like, actually, you have a lot of the answers right there. They're right there. I got an email from this lady the other day, and she was had sent me a bunch of other emails about her hip hurting. And I was like, I think you need to do this and that and roll the ball and try this. And she wrote me an email and she was like, life-changing. My hip doesn't hurt. Wow. It's literally a miracle. It's magical. So for me, like making money doesn't do it for me. I don't make that much money, but if I did, I still don't think it would do it for me. Like, but I'd like to try. What am I trying? But I think being able to just help other people fix and help and heal themselves, like that's it for me. That's it. That's all I need, is to know that I helped, that her hip feels better and she's out of pain. And if I
Mm-hmm.
can share some of my own experiences, I've got a lot. I've got a million aches and pains of my own from,
Yeah.
overuse, underuse in certain cases. So you know, I can just share my experience, and hopefully that helps other people.
Yeah. What one piece of advice would you give to the world?
Don't make me choose one. I was an English major. We're not good at just short, concise answers. It's not what we do.
Okay.
Okay.
Three.
Okay. All
Three.
right. Good. I'm going to give you three.
Yeah.
Give, give, don't take.
Okay.
Give, give back. Give back to Mother Earth. Give back to other humans. Give back to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't keep taking from everything and everything. Greed. Ugh. Follow your intuition. That is what I teach my girls, my women's self-defense classes. Follow your intuition. If something feels wrong, don't do it. If something is not working out, you know how you have a plan and you're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to force this plan to happen. And then
Yeah.
you do it, and then it rained like the whole vacation. And you're like, man, my intuition told me not to do this because everything wasn't really working out and lining up.
Right.
And like, I just should have followed that gut. So I think that's the same way with meeting people, right? Like, you meet people and
Mm.
you're like, red flag, something's a little off. And then that shows itself to be the case. So follow your intuition for everything, even for eating, like even for just how we think, how we eat. And then that leads me to make good choices, or choose wisely. My dad used to say, choose wisely. I think he was talking about like boys, right? Like, choose
Right.
wisely. But
Yeah.
I think that's for everything. Like, just choose wisely who you keep close to you. Choose wisely, making a good exercise plan. Choose wisely your thoughts, not to think negatively all the time or most of the time. Just to, so yeah, those are my three. Those are my three. Give, don't take. Follow
Mm.
your intuition and choose wisely.
That's good. It's fantastic.
Okay, good.
Really good.
Sorry, I can do one. Sorry, I can do one.
No, it's good. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you think would be helpful for us to know?
Oh, did you hit all? You had like 800 questions.
I do, I do have an embarrassing number of questions.
No, I think you know what? It's always good to be thorough.
Yeah.
I don't think that you've asked me about anything that I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Just that um, my biggest hope for people is just that they feel empowered to take care of themselves, to own their
Mhm.
own health, to not wait until there's a real problem to
Yeah.
get. Sometimes people are waiting. It's like, oh, well, finally I, had this guy at the gym, our manager of the gym, he was like 40, he had a heart attack.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I was like, what?
Wow.
He had a heart attack? And I was just sort of shocked. And I was like, well, he seems like he's super healthy. What's going on? And I guess he just was holding on to stress. So he sort of changed his life and,
Yeah.
took some, in other words, we don't want to wait till something really awful happens to have to find gratitude for all the things that we did have. Like,
Mhm.
appreciate what you've got while you've got it.
Yeah.
That's what my mom always says. She's like, you just, you're complaining about this and that, and you just don't know how good you have it. And then in 20 years, you're going to look back. And, mom's always right, right?
Absolutely.
So gratitude is the attitude. That's what I tell my son every day. I'm like, gratitude is your attitude. He doesn't understand me yet, but I'm just going
Right.
to keep putting it into his brain.
Yeah. He'll get it. He'll get it.
Yeah, just to
He's,
come from a
he's
place
a
of
very
gratitude.
lucky young man.
Oh, you're kind. You're so kind. He doesn't probably buy that, but thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, where can people find you online?
So I am Positive Energy Yoga. I do that with my cheerleading arms. It's the name says it all. And you can go to my website. I teach a couple classes. Everything's Zoom these days, right? So I teach 2 Zoom classes a week. I teach a lot of company classes, which is how I met you, through the company class on Zoom. And then I've been doing a ton of like yoga at your desks. So companies will hire me just for 30 minutes of, see how I'm sitting in a chair right now, that, like how to stretch when you're sitting there. Cause everybody's sitting for, I think,
Yeah.
more than usual. So
Yeah.
just stretching your hips and like things you can do just sitting at your desk. So that's been
Wow.
super popular. And then just to move your body. So I always say that yoga is a combination of like WD-40, right? To oil up your joints
Right,
and
right.
Drano, like keeping everything clean on the inside, right? So
Yeah,
WD-40 means Drano, shout out.
yeah.
That 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 everybody should be doing yoga. Like this is the deal, that if you're
I
not doing
agree.
it, you're going to end up doing it one way or another. It's called physical therapy, my friends.
That's
Unfortunately,
right.
you're all going to be doing yoga. Okay, yoga,
You're,
yoga.
you're coming my way.
Yeah, you're all going to be doing it. Trust me. So yeah, I'm online at positiveenergyyoga.com. I've got a YouTube channel, Olivia Well. It's an older one, but it has a lot of great flows. And then I do sell my recorded classes. They come with all the stand-up humor that is, not worth a dime. But yeah. So if you're into like a lighthearted practice, I never teach the same class twice. I mix it up. It's got everything that hip openers, twists. The strength, I do a lot of ab work. I'm sort of obsessed with working abs. Core strength is really important to me. So yeah, anyway, I offer it all. I teach women's self-defense classes too still. Big believer in empowering my young girls out there and boys too. So
You're here. Yeah,
that's
no,
it.
the world needs more people like you in it, Olivia. Thank you so much.
You're
This
so awesome. Thanks
this
for
has been awesome.
having me.
Thank you, thank you. No, this has been awesome. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for taking time, with me and away from your family, just for about an hour here.
It was my pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating. Or sign up for my free updates at my website, markabotros.com, and you'll never miss a post. If this was really helpful to you, the highest compliment you can pay is to share it with someone else. Or feel free to connect with me on social media. I would love to hear from you.